Calibrating cybernetics.
Talk to him now.
AT, Andre.
Come on, Dre.
Yep. Trippin with Let's Go. Woo! Trippin with Theobold.
What's your name?
Theo so bold.
Yeah.
Driggity. Let's go. Trippin with Theobold. Trippin.
What are we doing?
Trippin with Theobold.
Come on, Dre.
Mic check, 1, 2, we on. Hey, what's going on, y'all? And welcome to the 53rd episode of Trippin with Theobold. I'm your host, Andre Theobold, and welcome. Sorry for starting a little late. I know I changed the time up to Friday at 9 a.m. and it's now it's like, a quarter after 9. So, my bad, had some technical difficulties I had to work through to make sure I bring you guys a quality product. You know, I'm all about that production, you know, and I want to apologize for my last episode. I'm always apologizing every week, man, but last episode, the volume was real low, man. Like I was, I think I had like my settings backwards, you know. So shout out to Jason, I can't even talk right now. Jason Yadlovsky. He has like all these like audio videos on YouTube, and I had my gain cranked up too high on my mic, so I had to crank down my gain, and then I had to get into my settings on my computer and crank that up, and then, you know, we're gonna get into all that. But now, man, before we go any further, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend, do all that fun YouTube / social media stuff, you know. And if you're listening to this later via Spotify, thank you, you know, appreciate it. But you know, as I like to always do, I like to always, you know, pay homage and pay tribute to Buffalo Bills of current and past. So today's episode is tied to none other than it's the Marcus Patton, number 53. Since we're episode number 53, this episode is tied to Marcus Patton. You know, I remember Marcus Patton as a youngin, you know, during the Super Bowl era. And let me say right now, man, as y'all can see by this photo of Marcus Patton, this is not some dude you want to be doing the Oklahoma drill with. You know, you do not want to go head up with this dude, man. This dude is all shoulders. Like, he looked like a beast, man. Like, I would not want to run into that dude, man. But Marcus Patton, man, one of my favorite linebackers from the glory days era. And, you know what's funny, man, is he went to USC. You know, I didn't realize that. He's from California, you know what I'm saying? So everything is coming together. Everything is like aligning, you know, like when I was in Iowa, you know, Fred Jackson and Marv Levy went to Cole College, which was like a mile down the street from where I lived at, you know, in the time in Iowa. And Marcus Patton went to USC and all that. I'm just making references and connections to things that probably don't need to be connected, but whatever. We just talking. That's why it's called Trippin with Theobold. What else we got going on here, man? Yeah, so before we go any further, I gotta do my tongue twisty, you know. This is like kind of like the I don't know why I'm sounding like I'm up here sounding like Doc Rivers, man. What the hell's going on with my voice? Man, that came out of nowhere. That was weird. Man, I'm up here sounding like Doc Rivers and shit. No, but you know, this is the as you guys know, part of the reason why the show is called Trippin with Theobold is because I grew up with a speech impediment, and I literally trip on my words, aka I be stuttering and shit sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So I do tongue twisties to help, you know, kind of alleviate that. So today's tongue twisty is keep Kip's kin. Say it with me. Keep Kip's kin. One more time. Keep Kip's kin. All right, so that's today's tongue twisty. Knock yourself out with it. Okay, so cool. Let me go and get on to the promotional part of the show, where we promote stuff. So yeah, shout out to Prion Johnny, I think that's how you say his name, and Jason Yadlovsky, right? So As you guys know, my audio was trash last week. You know, this week I think it's better. I think it should be better. Let me go and pop in my YouTube chat right quick to make sure that I am not missing anybody that might be signing in, because I don't see anybody. But I'm gonna go ahead and just do it anyway. Let me go and pop in this YouTube chat right quick. Tell me, YouTube makes this joint to where you gotta go in every time and you gotta manually add your chat. I don't like that, YouTube. Come on, YouTube, get it together, man. There we go. Now I just gotta go to my YouTube chat, put in the link. It's just very, very tedious. And this is weird. I'll put the link in there, and okay, we are not going to waste time with that because it's visible. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, whatever. Just got to move on. Yeah, I was trying to do too much at one time, but whatever. So now I want to give a shout out to Prion Johnny and Jason Yadlovsky, right? So Jason Yadlovsky, he basically has these how do I put it? He does these videos on like how to get your audio right, and he did a real good video on how to get my Yeti sound right. So shout out to him, man. Appreciate it. Learned some things I didn't know about. And then Prion Johnny kind of got me right in my OBS settings, right? So when I stream, my volume would be a certain. So hopefully everything is a little bit better for the streaming part of it, you know. But you know, shout out to those two guys. Go on their YouTube channel, check them out. They have a lot of tech info for all you sound geeks out there. What else, man? I want to promote. Yeah, I got these. I got this. Sorry, I'm making a lot of noise. I got this. Well, I had it, and now it's gone. I got a lav mic for my iPhone. You know, I got this little lav mic, and I got the piece you got to plug in. I got this because, you know, whenever I do my audio recordings and stuff, and I work out, it's like real noisy in the background. But when you put this little lav mic in, you know, it really focuses that sound. So I paid maybe like $20 for it, you know. So go on Amazon, get, you know, if you're interested, go on Amazon and get all that whoop-de-whoop stuff. Oh yeah, and then I was at Target doing some shopping the other day, and damn it, Target. This is because I always shop at the Target on Santa Monica. And when I was in the aisle, man, look at what I found. Capital City Mumbo sauce, man. They got Mumbo sauce all the way out here in LA, man. So this goes on everything, you know? Like, this goes on everything, man. So I got like a couple more bottles yesterday. I'm probably gonna go clean them out and just stock up, man, because that Mumbo sauce go on everything, man. Yeah, so if you're from the Maryland, D.C. area, you know about Mumbo sauce, but I was shocked to see it in the aisle here out in L.A., you know what I'm saying? So that's how you know D.C.'s taking over, man, because they have Mumbo sauce all the way out here for us. And you can't find Mumbo sauce like in any other Target. Like if you go to the Target in Buffalo, there's probably no Mumbo sauce, you know, but only in L.A. because everyone, a lot of people from the DMV is out here, you know what I'm saying? So that's that. Also, I want to, this isn't a promotion. This is a constructive criticism, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, it's all about trying to, you know, help better ourselves. And, you know, it's always, you know, good to give feedback when it's necessary. And goat.com, I have to give y'all some constructive criticism, you know? Let me put this out. I don't know why this thing is it. So yeah, I got to give GOAT some harsh criticism, man. It's harsh, but it's gonna be constructive, right? So GOAT, if you're listening, I hope you're listening. Please listen to this. All right. So when I was in Buffalo about 2 weeks ago, you know, I was helping my mom clean out my grandma's basement, you know, and man, it was a lot of stuff down there, right? We did a lot of work. Me and my mom put a lot of work in this past trip. You know what I'm saying? So to reward myself, I said, you know what, let me go and order a pair of shoes, man. You know me, I like shoes, you know, I like kicks. So I got me a pair of shoes. So I ordered a pair of shoes when I was in when I was in Buffalo, right? Order my shoes, and then when you order shoes via GOAT, they give you like two options, right? They give you one option is you can either have it shipped directly from the seller, or you can have it go through the GOAT verification process, you know, verified by GOAT, right? So I'm thinking to myself, man, you know, I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool, let me go ahead and get it GOAT verified. It was cheaper to get it GOAT verified, so I went ahead and I did that. So I'm sitting there watching it, you know, I'm watching the tracking process, and the shoes basically got shipped to GOAT, and then they verify for a couple days, and then they ship it to you, right? So it took about 3 weeks for me to get these shoes, right? So I got these shoes on, was it Monday? Yeah, they came in on Monday. It's past Monday. And when I got these shoes and opened up the box, man, there was a crease down the back part of the heel part of my shoe, which is the hard part of the shoe. You know, it was a crease. I'm like, yeah, how the fuck do you crease the back of a heel of a shoe? And what the hell are y'all even verifying, you know? So it looked like what happened was they sat something heavy on top of my shoes after they verified it, or when they verified it, or whatever. And there's this crease down the back part of my shoe, man. And I got this shit, and I was like, yeah, nah, let me send these back. So here's the part that GOAT needs to improve on, right? Their shoe selling process is very, like, I didn't know they were like this, but what GOAT does is they, how should I put it? All sales are final with GOAT, you know? So when you buy a pair of shoes, all sales are final. And if you have an issue with your shoes, all they'll give you back is GOAT cash. So you can't do exchanges. You can't say, hey, nah, you can't send them shoes back and then have them give you the shoes that you bought. Like, you have to send it back. They have to see and confirm that there's an issue with the shoe, right? And then once they see that there's an issue with the shoe, then they issue you GOAT cash, right? Which means that you can only spend that money on that site. So that to me is very, very messed up. And then the thing that's also messed up about all that is when you ship the shoe back, it takes time for them to get the shoe, and then they go back and re-verify it. And then once they go back and re-verify the shoe, your price of the shoe that you wanted could have went up in price, you know? So that was real slick of them, man. Like, they real slick with that. So y'all out there, be careful, man. Like, if you're gonna buy shoes from GOAT, man, like, if they had this whole process, if that's how they gonna get down, just don't even waste your time with the verification process part. Just go ahead and get the shit shipped directly from the seller, you know, because at least it'll get there to you quicker. And then you can, because look, it's all about time, right? Like, you want to make sure that you get your shoe quick so you can see. Because here's the thing, I bought like, 15, 16 pair of shoes from GOAT, maybe more. But I never had an issue with them with that. But this is the first time. So if it happens again, I might have to start going to StockX or somewhere else, man. But that was a very messed up process, right? I felt like I should have been compensated something, you know? So GOAT, if you're listening, if you can go ahead and give me them Rick and Mortys, man, I'll go ahead and take this criticism back. But if you're not gonna give me the Rick and Mortys for free, this criticism holds, you know? So anyhow, like I said, man, I still like GOAT, but like I said, I saw like a little wrinkle in their process, you know? So hopefully that doesn't happen again, because it's very stressful, you know? Yeah, man, buying shoes is very stressful, man, because not only do you have to make sure that first you got to drop the bread on the shoe, then you got to sit around and wait, right? Then you have to wait to make sure that you can watch your package like a hawk, because they got motherfuckers out here stealing packages, you know? So you have to track your package and make sure that you intercept your package. If not, if you blink, that shit gone, you know? So just to get your package is stressful, you know? And then you have to make sure that you got what you paid for, right? So it's a very stressful process, very stressful. So anywho, let me go ahead and get on with the DFS portion of the show. Got a little tip for you guys out there, you know. Something I noticed via LineStar, you know, something I noticed in LineStar was I noticed that I started doing this for the past week, but let me go ahead and pull it up and show you guys. But one thing I noticed in Line Star is when you look at baseball, because we're in baseball season, we're about to get into football season like next week. But one thing I noticed is that the players that were winning in the winning lineups, the thing that was interesting was the consecutive opponent rankings for the previous two games were like all like matching, which is interesting, right? So I started kind of following that pattern, and I won $1 or $3 off of that method. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about right quick. Let me go ahead and pull up my Line Star app. Just give me a second. Okay, so let me show you guys what I'm talking about here, right? So, I'm just gonna do one example, and yeah, I got myself covered up right now because I want you guys to see the data. I want you guys to see what I'm talking about. Let me see who was a good example from yesterday. Let me just go by score. And I only want to look at hitters, offense only. Okay, here we go. So what's a good example to look at? Nope. Okay, here's one right here, right? So let's take a look at Adley Rutschman, right? So yesterday was different. I guess the pattern was broken or whatever, but everyone that won in a tier, when you look at the data for for Austin Riley, right? I'm looking at Austin Riley's data for the Atlanta Braves. When you look at Austin Riley, right? When you look at August 30th and 31st, if you look at the bottom, the opponent ranking is green, right? It says Colorado in green, meaning that he played the Rockies at home in green, right? So when you look at the September 1st projection, which was yesterday, the opponent ranking was home in green as well, and it matched, right? So I went through it and did that for all my players or whatever. I didn't win last night doing this, but for the past couple weeks, for the past couple days, I did it, and I was like winning money off that, you know? So I think that's something very interesting that you guys have to pay attention to, is the fact that you look at the opponent rankings. You know, if you have a matching opponent ranking for an upcoming game, you probably want to play that, you know? And I would say on average, 2 players per tier, right? 2 players per each tier have like what on average 2 players per tier have that, right? So let me go ahead and let me pull up my DraftKings right quick. Just see something right quick. 'Cause I have a tournament coming up today at 4:05 p.m. right? So we have, who's in this one? We got Joey Meneses on the Nationals, and then we got Marcus Simeon. Let me see what these guys are doing, right? So let me see, Marcus Simeon and Meneses. I hope I said his name right. So today is the 2nd. Who else we got? Meneses. Let me see what he's up to. So today, Joey Meneses, right? Wow, he went off yesterday too. Wow, he put 31 fantasy points yesterday, in yellow, or basically his opponent ranking was in the yellow at home, and today he's playing at the Mets in red. So I'm not gonna mess with that. Plus, if you look at when he goes off or puts up big numbers, he normally falls off. So I wouldn't pick him anyway. Then you got Marcus Simeon. Let's see what he's doing. Right, so look at that, right? When you look at Mark, let me go back to Meneses because I think I messed up. Yeah, sorry, Mike. So you have to look at the opponent ranking versus that team, not just the previous ranking of the previous game, right? So Marcus Simeon, for example, is playing Boston. And when you look at his opponent ranking for September 2nd, which is today, he's at Boston in yellow. He played Boston on the 1st yesterday. And Boston was in yellow as well. But the one thing I'm looking at too is look at the trend, right? For the past 4 games with Boston, he's been increasing, right? So 0-0, 7, 15, right? So that's like 3 increases in a row. When you look at what he did back in 2021 at Boston, right? It's 1, 2, 3. So I wouldn't really play that because he's shown that in his history versus Boston, he's only going to increase 3 times before he drops off. So even though we have 2 consecutive matchings of opponent rankings of consecutive games, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna. So I wouldn't play Marcus Simeon. Let's take a look at William Contreras. Get those 2 mixed up. So as you see with William Contreras, August 14th, he was at Miami in green, and now it's home in red. I'm not gonna mess with that. Let's look at Edmund. There we go. Let me see if I can find one, a good one for you guys. No, I wouldn't do that one. What about O'Neal? Let's take a look at O'Neal, Tyler O'Neal. Nope, I wouldn't mess with that. What about Tommy Pham? Tommy Pham is a good one. Here we go. Boom. Okay, so Tommy Pham for the Boston Red Sox. Excuse me, man, my throat is still messing with me. But as you guys see on September 1st, he was at home versus Texas in green. And today he's at home versus Texas in the green. And then also it's not like he's peaking or he's not increasing. So I'm definitely going to play a lot of Tommy Pham today. So that's a method I've been using that I have been able to get some ends off of. So try that out if you want. If you guys have comments, put it in the comment section below. If you think I'm full of horse shit, just okay, whatever, I'm full of shit. But that's something that I did that helped me out for this past week in baseball, right? I think I won maybe like $3-4 off of that, but I'm picking players that I wouldn't have picked before by doing that method, and I'm pretty consistent too. Like when I lose, I don't lose bad. It's like I'm right on the edge of the black, you know. So that's that. So now I want to talk about the topic at hand. I want to talk about the complexity of being a Bills fan, you know, because being a Bills fan is tough, man. You know, as you guys see, I'm Buffalo Billed out. But I want to talk about the difficulties or the complexity of being a Bills fan, man. So I grew up. So first, let me tell you guys how I became a Bills fan, right? Like I became a Bills fan, like it wasn't by choice. Like I was born into being a Bills fan, you know. I remember like it was yesterday. I was like a toddler. I wasn't a toddler. I was maybe like 9 years old or whatever. And my birthday is January 23rd, and the Super Bowl used to be like in late January, you know. So I remember like flashes of like my dad just being excited about the Bills all of a sudden, right? And I didn't even know what football really was at the age of like 9. Like I didn't really know, like it was weird. I was too worried about toys and stuff, you know. And I remember Super Bowl Sunday, my dad dropped me off at my sitter's house. And when he dropped me off, he gave me very specific instructions, man. My dad was like, he's from the West Indies. My dad, so hence the accent. My dad was like, G, I'm gonna go drop you off at Nanny's. And when I drop you off at Nanny's, I'm coming back to pick you up at 7:15. Or he's like, yeah, I'm coming back to pick you up at 7:30. If you are not outside waiting on me to go, you will be left here for the night. Because it's a big game, really big game. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now I'm excited. Like, okay, what's this game about? You know, shit, I ain't hear about this game. And then it was me and my bro E. We were upstairs in the room playing Madden. Madden 1. That's how old I'm dating myself back, because Madden 1 came out around Super Bowl 25, right? So, and I remember it was weird, but when I played Madden 1, I thought it was weird. Like I said, I played the video game football stuff, but I didn't like correlate, you know, the video game with like real life. It was, they were like two separate things. And I thought it was weird that New Jersey had a football team, because in Madden 1, the Jets were called the New Jersey Jets, you know? So I thought that was pretty interesting, you know, because we used to go to New Jersey to go visit some of his family and stuff, you know? So I remember like playing with the New Jersey Jets, you know, and I looked out the window of where we were in Eric's room, and I saw my dad's car pull up, right? Because my dad was big into the Peugeots back then, the French cars, right? The Peugeots. So my dad pulled up. I saw the Peugeot pulling up, and I just dropped the controller. I ran downstairs, and I ran outside. And my dad was, as soon as I hopped in the car, he just busted a donut, and we went back to the house. And when I went back to our house, when I went in, man, it was like I smelled like all this good food. I smelled chicken wings. I smelled my mom's she makes these things, like she makes these sesame noodles, man. I smelled all. It was just like, it just was a big deal. Like all this food was being cooked late on a Sunday night, and we had all these people over. So I'm like, man, what's going on? Like my birthday just happened, you know, like what is this? Like another birthday? Like what the hell is this, you know? And I remember like one of our guests that were in the house, they were like, hey Andre, so who's your team, you know? Or like, who you going for? And my dad just jumped in the middle and cut them off, and he said, anyone who lives in this house is a Bills fan. If not, they can go live in the streets. And I was like, oh shit, nigga, go Bills, all right? So that's how I remember becoming a Bills fan, man. And I remember my dad during Super Bowl 25. I remember, like, as I walked in, I remember the first thing I heard was the national anthem by Whitney Houston. Like that was just, that sound is always gonna be in my head, man. It's just it's a nostalgic sound, man. I remember walking in, and people were just like standing around the TV, you know. And Whitney, man, put her foot in that anthem, man. Like that joint, I listen to it to this day, man. I can't help but get choked up, you know, not because I'm like patriotic, but because like of the passion that she put into it and the performance. Like that's one of the best performances I've ever seen in my life on anything, man, you know, was Whitney Houston's national anthem, man. It was just, man, it was, man, like talking about it now is giving me the chills, man. That's how powerful that performance was. But yeah, but I remember during the game, my dad was talking all this shit during Super Bowl 25, and you know, like he was just on the. I never seen my dad get this animated, man. He was jumping up and down on the couch. He was running around and screaming and shouting, you know, giving me high five. I'm not sure what I'm really looking at, but he's giving me high fives or whatever and stuff. And then I remember at the end of the game, my dad got more animated, because that's when the Bills were getting lined up to go make the field goal. And my pop just kept saying, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it, holy shit, we're gonna do it, 100, high five. They went to commercial break, started talking, and when he came back with that field goal, man, and Scott Norwood kicked that ball, my dad said, we're gonna do it, we're gonna, oh no, he missed the fucking kick. That's what my dad, he missed the fucking kick. He said he missed the fucking kick. Oh no, my dad was just devastated, man. And all the people left early. I think they were quiet because they knew that was some bullshit how Scott Norwood missed that field goal. And then my dad then, I remember he then tucked me in the bed. Man, come on, Dre. Yeah, I remember he tucked me in the bed. And for like the whole month, when he was tucking me in the bed for a whole month, he just would be like, Dre, he missed the fucking kick. He missed it. Like he was dumbfounded. He was like, he missed the fucking kick. How do you? And like, you know, if you got West Indian parents, like they be smacking their teeth, you know, they be doing that. I could never do that shit, but my dad could. I can never smack my teeth, man. But he always like did this shit real effortlessly. But anyways, that's how I became a Bills fan, right? So after that, I was like locked in, man. I was like, yo, man, Bills are gonna win next year, man. And that was like me and my pop thing, man. And my mom. My mom was also a big Bills fan back then. So like we just would go and just watch every game. Like we watched every game, man. Like we would, and this is like before the DirecTV era, right? So all y'all little young privileged motherfuckers, like a lot of y'all got DirecTV and Red Zone channel now. But back in the day, before all that, man, you had to watch the game that was broadcast in your city, you know. So we lived in DC at the time, or Maryland, and we had to watch them bum ass Skins, you know. Well, I can't call them bum because they beat us in Super Bowl 26. But anyways, so let me go ahead and back up a little bit. I'm gonna come back to these stories, right? But being a Bills fan is very like complicated, right? Because I know I'm gonna lose some of the, I know I'm gonna lose some of Bills Mafia on this, but the real gung ho people of Bills Mafia know what I'm talking about, right? So, the Bills are looking good on paper right now. We look like this could be our year, like that we could win the Super Bowl. I don't even like saying we because I don't own the team, but for conversational purposes, we're looking like we're gonna win the Super Bowl this year. Like defense is stacked, offense is stacked. We got the best quarterback in football. And we got close last year, and the year before we looked like we were getting ready to make that move. But 1% of me wants us to go to the Super Bowl and lose again. I lost some of y'all. I know. I lost some of y'all. But 1% of me, you know what I'm saying? Like 1% of me like wants us to go there and lose, right? And here's why, right? Because right now we got a lot of Bills fans coming out of nowhere, man. I'm like, man, how long have y'all been how long have y'all been a Bills fan for? Have you when did you become a fan? Like what like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we got a lot of fluff, right? We got a lot of fat. And here's the thing, right? During my Super Bowl era, or during the Super Bowl era when the Bills were like, when they went 4 straight and lost 4 Super Bowls, like that was some painful shit, you know? And to now all of a sudden see the Bills winning and you got everyone wearing Bills jerseys and shit. I'm like, bruh, I want us to go to, like, there's 1% of me that wants me to lose in the Super Bowl one more time, because when we lose, we gonna be the laughing stocks again, right? Because right now it's trendy to be a Bills fan right now. It's very trendy to be a Bills fan right now, you know? And if you haven't experienced like those 4 Super Bowl losses, man, you kind of, in my mind, you're really not a fan. Like, that's just me, you know? Because them shit, I literally cried through a couple of them Super Bowls, man. I would tear up and cry because like that's my team, you know? But like I said, 1% of me wants us to go back to the Super Bowl and lose. And I want us to like lose in a way where it's like dramatic, right? Like on some like DeAndre Hopkins Hail Mary type shit, or some I know I'm jinxing us right now because that's where the Super Bowl's at. It's in Arizona, and that's where Kyler Murray did the whole Hail Murray thing, right, and beat us, right? So I might be jinxing us, you know what I'm saying? Or I want us to go there and get stomped out, right? Because once that happens, a lot of the fake fans are gonna be gone, right? Like, I'm all about trimming the fat. Like, if you can't stick around when we losing, then I don't want you around when we winning, you know? So there's 1% of me that's like, I want us to go there to lose. And then the second reason why I want us to go and lose, or the 1% reason why I want us to go lose, is because we got to go back to the red helmets, man. We got to go back to the red helmets. Like, we got to win the Super Bowl in the red helmets, man, because right now it's like, right now it's a new team, you know? It's a new team, and we got the white helmets, but we got to go back to the red helmets, man, because I want to just erase like that pain of losing 4 Super Bowls in the red helmets. You know, I want us to go back and just to, you know, I want us to avenge that, you know, So yeah, the two reasons why 1% of me wants us to lose the Super Bowl is, one, I want to get rid of the fake fans, and then two, we got to do it in the red helmets, man. We got to win the Super Bowl in the red helmets, man. Because look, I don't want us to win in the white helmets, and all of a sudden we got all these crazy fans or whatever, and then we go to the red helmets, and then we lose, and then we back to where we were back in the 90s. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna hurt more than if like we just don't go. So I know I lost some of y'all, but you know, that's just me. You know, that's how passionate of a fan that I am, right? I want to win in a particular way, right? It's not just about winning; it's about how you win, especially in this case, you know. But like I said, man, like I went through a lot with my team, man. You know, like you have a lot of Bills fans that were Bills fans in Buffalo, but I was a Bills fan in Maryland. And I went to school in Philly, you know, and all this stuff. So I was always like the laughing stock of all my friends, right? They were like, "You like the Bills, man? Get out of here, man!" Like, it was like back then, it wasn't trendy to be a fan, you know. Like, it was not trendy to be a Bills fan at all, you know. I always got shit for being a Bills fan, you know. But I remember Super Bowl 26. I lived in the Maryland, D.C. area. And like I said, we couldn't even, like, there was no direct TV back then. So we would either have to hope that the Bills played on TV or it was a national game. If not, we had to watch the bum ass Skins, right? So we watched the Skins, and it would be real messed up how they would do it, right? Like, they would show the Bills warming up, and then they would show the kickoff, and then right at the last second they would switch the feed and then put on the Redskins, you know. But I remember that year the Redskins. We met up with the Redskins in the Super Bowl because the Cowboys were getting better, I think, then. But who I think the Skins lost to they lost to the Lions, I think. And was it? I want to say the Redskins lost to the Lions in the NFC Championship game that year. I think that was the closest they got, that the Lions got to the Super Bowl. I gotta look that up because I remember watching that game. It was the Lions and the Redskins. But I remember when it got announced, and then all my friends at school, because like I said, I went to school in the Maryland, D.C. area. All my friends were like Redskins fans, you know, and they were just talking trash to me all week. And I'm like, nah, we gonna go back and avenge that Scott Norwood kick. And man, we got handled by the Redskins in that Super Bowl, man. That shit was painful, you know. Well, I think we got beat 37-24 in that game. I think it was. See, I know that's how you know I'm a fan, because I remember the scores, right? We got beat 37-24 in that game. I remember, I think our offensive coordinator or our defensive coordinator pissed off the offensive coordinator for the Redskins. And then they just went to work, and we couldn't get to Mark Rippon for nothing. You know, he was just, how the fuck Mark Rippon win MVP? Like, that shit hurt, yo, because Mark Rippon wasn't like a superstar quarterback back then like that. But he showed up in that Super Bowl, you know. But man, that was a painful game to watch. And I remember going back to school the next day, right? And I was embarrassed because, you know, because we got beat. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna get up extra early. I'm gonna have my dad drop me off to school really early in the morning. So, you know, that way I can be the first one there. So as people are coming in onesie twosies, they can like talk their trash or whatever and stuff, and I can absorb the Bills bashing I was about to receive in piecemeal. You know, I was trying to get like one-on-one. I was trying to just deal with like one-on-one type shit. Okay, yeah, we lost. Okay, you got us, man. We lost Super Bowl. Okay, cool. Whatever. We lost, you know. First class of the day was choir practice, right? I think I was in the 4th grade then, or 5th grade. Yeah, we had choir practice in the morning. Miss Edwards, choir practice, right? So I got to school extra early, and as I'm going across the courtyard, I'm looking into the choir room and it's dark. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm the first one there. As soon as I get into the choir room, man, and cut on the lights, all my classmates, man, they were waiting on my ass, man. They got up extra early just to come and bash me for being a Bills fan and losing to the Redskins in the Super Bowl. You know, they had on their war paint, their little feathers and shit, you know. Miss Edwards, our choir director, man, she was on the piano playing Hail to the Redskins. And she's like all in my, just playing Hail to the fucking Redskins, man. And I had to hear that shit. And then they're all doing the Indian chant shit. And they're all around me, man. So that was like, fuck, man. That was like, really, that shit hurt, man. You know? And then all day long, I had to hear about how the Bills suck. The Bills suck. Take that shit. And look, I wore my shit the next day. I wore my Bills Apex coat. I wore my Bills socks. I wore my Bills hat. I wore, like, look, I'm like, look, that's my team. Like, win, lose, or draw, I'm wearing that shit, you know? So, man, all day long in school, I just kept hearing, man, take that shit off, man. Y'all some losers, man. Take that shit off. Y'all bums. We got y'all. Yeah, take that shit off, you know? And then, I remember at recess, we had a kickball game, and I put my coat on the bench. Someone took my coat, man, threw it in the puddle of mud, stomped on that shit. Like, yeah, so I got very vivid, harsh memories of being a Bills fan growing up, man. So now that we looking like we might win the Super Bowl, I don't want all y'all new young fucks coming around talking about, oh, yeah, I've been a fan. Oh, yeah, I'm a fan. Yeah, man, you ain't been through shit. Like I've been through shit, you know? I remember Super Bowl 27, you know, against the Cowboys. Right? Super Bowl 27 was against the Cowboys. And that was out here in Pasadena. Right? We got stomped out 52-17. Man, that shit hurt even worse. Because it was like a joke, you know? Because we went there, 3 times in a row. And everyone was like, yo, this is it. You know, this is it. You know? These Bills are due. And man, we had a Cowboys fan over at the house. This dude named Ernest. He was my he was my mom's friend's husband, and he talked all this shit. He's like, look, if you live in the Maryland DC area, there's a lot of Cowboys fans, and like there are more Cowboy fans in the DMV than there are Commander fans, right? Like a lot of people don't know that, but the DMV is really a Dallas Cowboys like fan base. It's like, maybe I would say, if I had to guess, I would say it's like 65% Cowboys, 35% Skins, maybe 60-40, you know. But anyways, man, that Super Bowl was going so bad because that was the year of the comeback, right? That season is when the Bills had the comeback game, you know, against the Oilers. And then I remember we had these Cowboys fans over, you know, and Ernest, and man, we were getting beat first half of the game, right? So we were getting beat so bad the first half of the game, I didn't even watch the Michael Jackson halftime performance, right? Because that's when he did the Heal the World tour, right? So we were getting beat so bad, I ran up to my room to go and pray. You know, I wanted to meditate. I did all that shit. I prayed, meditated, all that shit, you know? Man, when it looked like we weren't going to win, just tears started streaming down my face, man. But I remember I came down for part of the Michael Jackson halftime tour show, right? Or part of the Michael Jackson halftime joint. And Michael Jackson was singing Heal the World, right? And this dude, Ernest, started singing Heal the Bills, you know? And he was just all off key. He was like, heal the Bills, make them a better team for Andre's family and the entire human race. Oh shit, Andre's crying. I was like, man, you don't shut the fuck up, man. I don't miss 3 straight, man. Come on, we gonna lose 3 times in a row, man, for real. And here's the thing, right? The worst part about being a Bills fan during the Super Bowl era was getting phone calls from motherfuckers that never called your phone, right? Had a house phone because back then there weren't cell phones and shit. But man, the worst part about being a Bills fan, like during the Super Bowl, man, was when they were losing, man. That's when motherfuckers wanted to call your phone, man. I remember, and they would always wait until the clock is like ticking down in that final minute when it's like, nah, this is it. Like, nah, nah, it's a wrap. I remember, cause our school had this like school directory book, right? So you could basically go through and look up people's phone number and call them or whatever. But I remember at the end of Super Bowl 27, right? I remember as the clock's winding down, you know, I'm like, you know, let me go ahead and get ready to go to bed. and I used to watch all the Super Bowls down to when the clock said 0-0-0, because at any given point, man, to me, I was like, anything can happen, right? Even if we getting blown out 52-17, anything can happen. So I remember, and this was like a regular thing, but at the end of the Super Bowl, like I would be getting ready to go to bed, or the game would go off, and I would be getting ready to go to bed, and then I would go to bed, and right before going to bed, I would tell my mom, look, hey, if the phone rings for me, tell them I'm in bed, I'm asleep, or whatever, right? Or I'm sick. Like I'm not talking right now. So I remember the phone would ring, and my mom would come knock on the door. Andre's for you. I said, Mom, what did I tell you? All right, I'm sick. Like I'm like, can't you follow instructions? And she's like, boy, if you don't take this, I'm like, give me that shit. So I took the phone, and it'll be one of my classmates, and they'd be like, hey, what's going on, Andre? I'd be like, man, I don't feel too good. And they'd be like, man, that sucks. But not as bad as them Bills. Click, and they would hang up. So I would get like all these like Bills bashing prank phone calls after we lost the Super Bowl and shit, you know? And then I think the Super Bowl 27, I made a bet with the school bully. Like there was this is crazy, right? There was this Indian dude in our school. This dude was a bully, man. Like, believe it, like this dude, like it was weird. Like this dude, because my school I went to was like pretty like well mixed up. But his name was this dude's name was Jonathan Cheatham. The motherfucker was a class bully, man. Like he wasn't like he didn't beat nobody up, but he was like very intimidating, right? Like he was like a little taller, like he was an upperclassman, and the way he would talk down at people, he would make you feel like shit, you know. So he kind of had that. I don't want to say alphaness, but he was like that dude that like he just would like talk like he wasn't a bully in the sense of the word, but he was more of just like very intimidating, right? And I was like, yo, the Bills are gonna win the Super Bowl and all this, and he called me out and was like, oh, you want to make a bet on that? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, shit. He said, man, put your money where your mouth is, right? So I think I bet like $40. And back then, like in middle school, like $40 was a lot of money, yo. Like that shit was like $400, you know. So I remember I made this bet, and while my Bills are getting stomped out 52-17, I'm like shit, I gotta pay this dude I gotta come up with $40, man. So I couldn't ask my mom because I was like, yo, she probably gonna whoop my ass because, you know, I'm up here gambling in school and shit, and she don't want to hear about her son going to school and gambling and shit, you know. So I went to school the next day, and I'm trying to duck and dodge Jonathan, right? Doing Jonathan Cheatham. So if you listening, Jonathan, hey, what's going on, John? Just want to say what's up. Jonathan Cheatham, right? So I'm ducking and dodging this dude all day, trying not to, cause look, at the end of the day, I don't have his money. You know what I'm saying? So I get through most of the day, and then John runs up on me. I'm like, oh fuck, man. I was like, shit, hey man. So I'm like, hey man, sorry, man, I don't have your money. I'm working on your money. I was like, look, man, I have your money by the end of the week. And he was like, nah, man. I don't want your money, man. He's like, man, because y'all got stomped out so bad. I feel sorry for you. So you can keep the money. So, like, not only did my Bills, like, get stomped out during that Super Bowl, but the bully had mercy on me and told me to keep my money. Like, my money was no good. That's how bad my Bills got beat in that Super Bowl. My money was no good. Right? The money I bet was no good. So that shit hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I can't even keep my end of the bargain and shit up, man. Cause, right? So like I say, I went through all this shit as a Bills fan growing up, man. And then I remember Super Bowl 28 was the last Super Bowl we were in. It was in the Georgia Dome against the Cowboys. We lost 30-17, I think it was 30-17. Yeah, we lost 30-17 now. And that Super Bowl looked like we were gonna win that Super Bowl, you know, because we were like in it for the first half of the game. But Thurman Thomas fumbled the ball coming out of halftime, and then the Cowboys got their momentum back, and then we could never like go back and recapitalize on it, you know. So I cried during that Super Bowl, and then after the end of that Super Bowl, I got prank calls that night from all my classmates. So at the end of the day, like I said before, man, being a Bills fan for me was like tough. Like that shit was hard, man. So when I hear all these fans coming up talking about, oh yeah, I've been a fan, and oh yeah, Josh Allen and all this. I'm like, man, look, man, like what part of pain, like how much pain have you been through? You know? Like how much pain have you, like what pain, like what type of pain have you been through? You know? And here's another thing too, right? There's a part of me too that's like, I feel like my Buffalo Bills owe me. You know, I feel like, you know, if they go to the Super Bowl, I need to be an honorary fan where they need to have me go to the game. They need to pay my ticket. They need to pay for my, well, if they just give me, if they just give me a ticket to get to the game, I'll get there, right? If they drop like 7-8K or give me a field pass or whatever it is, I'll fly out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm owed that for all the pain, and trials and tribulations I've been through. They owe me that. You know what I mean? Because I never gave up on them dudes, yo. Never. Every season I'm like, nah, this is gonna be our season, you know? Even when we drafted JP Lossman and Lee Evans, I was like, man, this is our year, man. We gonna do it. I went through the JP Lossman era. I went through the Trent Edwards era. I went through the Flutie era. I went through the Drew Bledsoe era. I went through all the eras except everything. I went through the Kelly era and on. Right? So, cause it's gonna be weird, man. Like, if the Bills go to the Super Bowl and if I'm not there, it's gonna feel weird because I put so much into that as a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? I put so much into that, man. And it's like, I gotta, like, when they go and when they win, I gotta see it with my own eyes. You know what I'm saying? I gotta see that shit with my own eyes, man, because that could erase like all. Well, here's the thing, right? Like, the pain from the past can't be erased, but to have the fact that, oh wow, during this era, I was like going for the team that was like the laughing stock of the NFL, and then now to actually be able to go and see my team and to have the chance to see him win, that would be dope. You know what I mean? But like I said, I mean, you know, that's why right now I'm trying to like kind of stack my bread. Like, here's the thing too, right? Like, I don't have, like, here's the thing, right? I'll just put it like this. I don't have the money to go to the game, right? Because the way I look at my life is, I got my FU account, right? My FUCU credit union account, right? Because when it comes to these jobs and this shit, like, I got my money stacked up because I don't want to be in a situation where I have to eat slop to get a check to stack money just to get away from a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I have my money stacked up to a point where I'm like, you know what? If my job goes belly up or if I come across hard times, I have about a year to, like, you know, figure out my next move. But when it comes to the Super Bowl stuff, like, I'm not gonna wipe my account out to go to that. Like, that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's, like, I know I don't sound like a fan right now, but I'm like, yo, it's like, what's worse? Not being able to see your childhood team win the Super Bowl that they never win on TV and not be there, or being forced into a situation at work where you have to work with some people that you really don't care to work with, you know? So we're probably gonna talk about that in like another episode, but in the meantime, you know, I'm working on my investments. I'm working on, like, you know, some plans to get some disposable income so I can go watch these Bills if they decide to go to the Super Bowl this year, you know? So like I said, I got 18 weeks. So I'm gonna figure that out. But anyways, so that's why this show is called Trippin with Theobold. Before we go any further, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend. But this is why this show is called Trippin with Theobold, because as you guys know, I be tripping, you know, and you're probably surprised to hear me say 1% of me like wants the Bills to go to the Super Bowl and lose before they actually go back to win. All right? Like, man, you tripping. Like, yeah, I mean, that's why it's called Trippin with Theobold. But I explain my logic, and you guys hopefully understand, you know, where I'm coming from. So it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But it's looking like it's gonna be a good year for my Bills. But you know, it is what it is. What else we got going on, man? So yeah, I got it's fantasy football season time again. You know, it's that time of year. So yeah, I'm in like 6 different leagues. Yeah, I'm in 6 different leagues, man. And yeah, so I'm in like three traditional fantasy. No, I'm in like three traditional fantasy leagues. And really, it's more about just camaraderie and just having fun with your friends, you know. And then I'm in a Survivor league. I'm in a Pick'em league, and I'm in a weekly daily fantasy sport league, you know. So even if I won all them leagues, like, that wouldn't be enough to get a Super Bowl ticket. It wouldn't be enough, you know. Because if I won all my leagues, I might have, that might be, I don't know, that might be like 2 racks. But that's not enough. So that's why, you know, I'm getting ready for NFL DraftKings. So you guys are going to start seeing less of, or better yet, I think this is going to be the last week of MLB DFS talk, you know, because right now we're getting ready to go into the NFL season. So we're going to start talking about, you know, because I'm really going to get down into the showdown captain modes, right? So in baseball, the only thing I played was tiers, right? I just did the fantasy league tiers or whatever. But in football, when it's NFL time, I'm doing tiers. I do the Millie Maker. All right, I do tiers. I do the Millie Maker, and I'm gonna do the Captain Showdown modes. I'm probably gonna do all the Captain Showdown modes for the Bills all season long. I'm gonna get a spreadsheet going just to track all that data. And then I'm gonna I'll probably do a Showdown Captain mode for every Monday and Thursday night game. And then of course I do the Millie Maker every week if it's $20. But when they start talking that $100 bullshit, I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. You know, cause see DraftKings be messing around, right? Like, I think opening week, I think they have a $100 Millie Maker, and then you have a $5 there's a $100 Millie Maker, and then a $5 Millie Maker, right? So you put in $5, you have a shot at winning $1 million. You put in 100, have a shot at winning $1 million. If you put in 100, your pool size shrinks because not everybody's going to be putting up $100. So the pool size shrinks, but you're probably going to be playing against more experienced people. So the competition is going to be like a little stiffer. But I'm doing the $5 ones because I have a method I want to try out. Because when I do the Millie Makers, I don't compete with people in my league. I compete with the computer, right? I compete with the perfect lineup, right? I track the perfect lineup every week, and I try to get the perfect lineup, you know? So if you can beat the computer, or if you can tie the computer, then you win, right? I said tie the computer. If you can tie the perfect lineup, which is the perfect combination of salary and points scored, that's when you win, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing. So so I think this will be the last time in a while that I do baseball, any baseball DFS talk. But when it's also almost playoff time for baseball, man. So maybe when the playoffs start, I'll start doing the Captain Showdown modes with baseball. But really, I'm really hunkering down. I'm really gonna hunker down on NFL because, like I said, I'm in all these fantasy leagues, and I have all these things I'm gonna do in DraftKings. Excuse me, man, my throat. Man. I don't know. Do not know what happened to me. But yeah, that's that. Excuse me, man. But yeah, that's that. So next week is going to be the week of the 8th or the 9th. So I'll probably excuse me. So I'll probably do my Trippin with Theobold on the 9th on Friday. I'm probably gonna stick to Friday because I have a lot of stuff that goes on Thursday and Wednesday when it comes to comedy, you know. So I'll probably stick to doing this on the 9th in the morning. So next episode will probably be 9/9. But let me go ahead and talk about a comedy bump right quick. And then what's coming up next. So one comedy bump, something that I'm like kind of like struggling with right now is sticking to the script versus riffing, right? Like there's a perfect balance that you have to have. And my experience has been that whenever I get up and just do material, I'll get laughs, you know, people say you're funny, but then that's when like the vets or the people or the people's whose opinion matters to me, they'll come up to me like, yo man, what you gotta do is man, you gotta be more fluid, man. You gotta riff more. Like get up there, play with the audience, have fun, you know, and if you only gotta do one joke, just do one joke, you know? So, right? So when I do that and I start to riff, and when I get off stage, it's, man, you gotta stick to your material, man. Just get up there, write your shit out, joke after joke, thank you, good night, right? So I'm trying to find that mix where it's like, it's not obvious if I'm doing material or if I'm riffing, right? Like you always have to kind of give people the impression that you riffing, but really they can't decipher where the material is, right? So, and with me, my material is like, you know when I'm going into a joke, and then the joke is funny, but then you know when I get out of the joke, right? So I have to do a better job, I guess, of blending the joke so people don't know that I'm going into a joke or coming out of a joke, you know? So, but shout out to Angel Gaines, man. Angel Gaines was at the spot I was at last night. Real funny comedian, man. She's real funny, man. She's a vet in the game. And when I got done off stage, cause I did this spot last night, and like my first, I think I did like 7 minutes. Like the first two jokes, man, they hit. Like they were like, okay, this is funny, right? Then my second two jokes like kind of like fell flat. But I spoke to Angel. I mean, after the show, after like my set, you know, she was like, hey, is it cool if I give you some notes? I was like, sure, come on, give me some notes, you know? So she went outside and then she basically broke some shit down to me, man. So she gave me a lot of good games. So man, shout out to Angel Gaines, man. Appreciate you. This might be the key that unlocks the door, right? The information that she has bestowed upon me might be the key that unlocks my matrix, right? And allows me to wreak havoc, right? So if that happens, man, I gotta give a huge shout out to Angel Gaines about that, man, because it was real simple what she told me. But I'll break it down in the episode. Just want to give a shout out, because actually, you know what? My thing is, you have to put advice into action. That's the kind of person I am, right? I don't like to just say thank you for someone for giving me advice. I like to, my way of saying thank you is to put that shit into action, you know? So that's why I don't really want to talk about it, because I feel like I might jinx it, you know what I'm saying? Like I know what I have to do now, you know? And if it works, then I'll go back and I'll tell you what it was. But see what's coming up next for me, little old me. Shout out to Nicole Denise, my comedian brethren, aka Forehead, man. She got a big ass forehead, man. I give her shit about her forehead every time I see her out. But man, she's a hustler, man, when it comes to, you know, getting on shows and like producing shows. I mean, she's in the trenches, you know. But yeah, she got me up at this one little spot, this hood spot. She said, she left me this message, man. That shit was funny. She was like, yo, so here's a spot, you know, it's gonna be here. Just so you know, it's gonna be a hood spot. It's gonna be some nigga shit, okay? It's gonna be some nigga shit. It's in this hood spot. When they say it's gonna start this time, it's really gonna start like 2 hours later. But so don't expect nothing. But you know, it's gonna be a hood room, just so you know. And the message was just so hilarious, man. Man, I gotta find that message, man. That shit was hilarious. So I have a little spot I'm gonna go hit up. It's gonna be tonight. I think it's in Rancho Cucamonga, so I got that. I'll probably go and record it and put something up. I gotta start to put my stuff on social media so people can like see kind of what I do. Because people hear that I'm a comedian, they be like, "Man, you really a comedian?" I don't know, right? And then they see me, and some people are like, "Yo, man, you funny," and then some people be like, So yeah, I think I'm probably gonna record that set. And I'll probably do a joke and just post a joke on social media so y'all can get a peep into what I'm working on, you know? But once again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend, do all that fun YouTube stuff. Oh, snap. the Night Owl. Hey, what's going on, man? Oh, snap. I said, that's why I got to get my YouTube chat going on, man. Hey, man, shout out to the Night Owl, man. Hey, what up, bro? Man, I was trying to get that YouTube, I was trying to get the YouTube chat embedded into my stream, but it didn't happen. Let me try it one more time just so I can put it up in here, just so I can, you know, because let me just give it one more. Let me give it one more stab, because I got a comment and I like to make sure I show love to all my supporters and people that want to, you know, show little old me some love. Let's go ahead and do this right quick. Let me try it one more time, man. Come on, YouTube, don't let me down. There we go. Boom. Finally, man. Okay, he's listening. Okay, you're still listening. Cool. Okay, I thought you left. I thought you came in and saw that I only had one person watching, two people watching, me and you, and then you came in and said, "Hey, what's up, bro? Okay, I'm out." Nah, that's what's up, man. Hey, man, thanks for checking me out, man. Appreciate you, man. You know, but yeah, I'm about to actually wrap up and wind down this show. Oh, what did he say? He said they still selling whole pieces of salmon in that yard house. Man, Rashad, man. Nah, so here's the thing, man. So with the yard house, you got to ask for the what is it? You have to ask for the what's that? It's like the what's that name? That fancy name? It's not like, yeah. If you ask for the okay, so let me go and let y'all in on this, right? So basically, like you know, when I go to the yard house, I get this salad, right? And I get this I think they call it the seared salmon or whatever it is, salad or whatever, but I like tuna, right? So I get the it's called Ahi Tuna. That's what it is. You got to get the Ahi, right? You got to ask for the Ahi Tuna Salad, right? You got to ask for the salad that they sell, but then say, instead of the tuna, give me the Ahi, right? I want the Ahi Tuna, you know, and that's the one that's seared, and it's like it's seasoned and all that shit. So yeah, but the last time me and my man we went to Yard House, man. The last time we went to Yard House, they put a whole, like, I asked for the salmon salad. These motherfuckers cooked the whole salmon, didn't cut it up, and just dropped the shit in my salad. I'm like, young, this is like, yo, what is this, man? Like, bruh, like, this is all protein in this salad. It's like no lettuce. It's like, can I get some greens to go with this? Like, but it was a big ass piece of fish, and I was like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. Hey man, thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate you, man. That's a pleasant surprise. I'm always tickled when, like, friends of mine, you know, come in on the show and then chime in, you know. Appreciate all that. But yeah, man, I've been talking for like an hour and 9 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and shut the hell up, you know. But yeah, once again, man, come on, Dre. Hey, but once again, man, thank y'all for tuning in. You know, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Do all that stuff. And I will see you guys next week when we are in full football mode. So with all that being said, Badeep, I'm out of here. Peace. Yep. Trippin with Theobold.
Let's go.
Caliente.
Trippin. Yep. Trippin. Trippin. Trippin with Theobold.
Trippin with Theobold.